See our gator over here on the left? I see his back up. I see the bumps. Yep. There's one here on the left. Now here at Cajun Pride, we own some of this swamp. We lease a little bit more on our property, on our private property. We don't allow people to come back here and hunt and fish and commercially fish and alligator hunt and all that. Now there is some state property and there is some other private property in the back. There is very little recreational boat traffic. These bayous we're on only have 3 access points. All 3 access points are privately owned. We're the only swamp tour company in this bayou system. There's about half a dozen guys that hunt in the back. They hunt for white-tailed deer and wild feral pigs. Sometimes they might hunt for squirrels and rabbits and raccoons and frog, and hunt for gators too sometimes. But very little recreational boat traffic. So with that said, we kind of have an advantage. The wildlife gets pretty accustomed to swamp tour boats. That's really all they ever see, are swamp tour boats. I come here from a different swamp tour company. I worked at another company for 10 years. At that swamp tour company, a good alligator sighting, or 6 alligators would be good. 12 alligator sightings would be great. A couple of weeks ago, I had a lady on this boat here at Cajun Pride. She counted 49. That's ridiculous. We have no shortage of gators here at Cajun Pride. Just 2 more. Sunbathing, doing a bit of basking. Alligators have a critical decision to make on a day like today. What is warmest? Should I stay here underneath the water, burrowed into the mud? Or should I get out and get into the sunshine? Now look at this gator. See him keep on ducking under? He's making a living. He's up in that vegetation. The water dropped out about 1.5 foot last night. That's how a gator makes a living naturally. He's in there biting at crawfish, little fish, snails. That's what he's doing. This is natural. I love to see him make a living naturally like this. Watch him. He go bite again. He's moving that. See? Chomp. Look, this is a perfect example of why an alligator has a mouth shaped like it has. It's got a mouth shaped like a shovel, a big round snout. That's because they bite in the vegetation, bite in the mud to catch small prey items. Even the largest alligators roam in the swamp are not opposed to eating snails and crawfish and clams. That's pretty cool. Because when they swim up to the boat begging for marshmallows, that's like a circus animal. I like this. This is natural. Look at him. You go bite again. Wow. This is the American alligator. This is what we have here in Louisiana. In the world, there are 23 different species of crocodilians. 14 crocodiles, 6 caiman, 2 alligators, and 1 gharial. This is the American alligator. Now this bayou system, this bayou flows into Lake Maripol behind us. It flows into Lake Pontchartrain up ahead of us. So this water has a bit of salinity, a small amount of salinity, 0.6%. Full strength seawater is 3.5% salt content. So sometimes we might see some hardy saltwater fish. We might see pogies and mullets, needlefish. We set traps back here and catch blue crabs sometimes too. But most of the fish people pursue, or you'll see in this environment, are going to be freshwater fish. Largemouth bass, bluegill, garfish. 3 types of catfish here get big enough to catch and eat. There's another one. There's another one up here. No shortage, right? You can see how this lady counted 49. No problem. Now, the water dropped out last night. It dropped out about 1.5 foot. We're on the west side of Lake Pontchartrain. We're subject to a wind-driven tidal effect. And last night, or tonight, was a full moon. And that makes you have an extreme tidal range.
Oh, there's turtles. Oh, look at the baby turtle. Do gators eat turtles?
Basking. It won't be long. These gators are going to turn on and start to feed. So there's a turtle on the right. 2 turtles. They're doing just like the gators. They're doing a bit of basking. Now these are not the type of turtles we eat. These are the type of turtles you buy from a pet shop. You buy that turtle from Petco for $19.99. But today, you get them for free. I call it free 99, and that's a good price. Just stand on top of the seat, get as many turtles as you want, I don't care. These are red air slider turtles, chicken turtles, river cooters, sometimes soft shell turtles. The type of turtles people eat are snappers. We eat the alligator snapper, we eat the common snapping turtle too. These bayous should average somewhere around 4 to 10 feet deep. The word bayou, it comes from a Choctaw word. It's a Native American word called bayak. Bayak will translate into winding water. So bayous are natural drainage and they have no typical direction. Well, you to the bayou and see what's happening. Now this log jam up here on our left would be the first spot I would even attempt to look for a gator through the winter months of December, January, and February. The first dozen gators we saw, I wouldn't even look for those. It wouldn't be out. Back in early December, I counted 6 alligators in this log jam. More recently, we have not seen 6, but we'll take a look and see if there's anybody in here. Now, have y'all noticed the trend? People on the right side of the boat, have y'all noticed the trend? Yeah. They're all on the left-hand side. That's the sunny side of the bayou. All right? So they don't want to have to swim across the chilly bayou to get in the sunshine. They're already in it. If the sun cracks out, they're basking. If you come back here later in the summer, August, September, they'll be over here on the right. When the water's warm, the air's hot, they want to get in the shade and cool down a little bit. Now, what is the loneliest bayou in the swamp called?
This one.
Bayou Self. Ah! This is Bayou Self. We're going to go on to the lonely bayou. Then we're going to go on to the lonesome bayou. So I think a single guy named all these bayous. Oh, we got to fight. Look at these two fighting up here. Watch, watch, watch. That big one's going after the little one. Fight, 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 fight. Yeah, they have a lot of territorial disputes. Alligators are the most territorial of all the crocodilians. And the big one was just chasing the little one. Yeah. The biggest one we see is one called the maple gator. He's about 11.5 feet. We haven't seen him yet this season. Then we have one called the honey bun, who's about 11 feet. And one we haven't seen the honey bun, by the way, either. But we have seen one called the T-Brud. And the T-Brud's like 10 to 11 feet. We spotted him. I've seen him on 17 tours this season. I want to see if they're going to fight. He went after him. The little guy's just going to run. He's not going to fight. The big guy was being aggressive. Yeah, he's like, all right. He's like, okay, he knows I mean business. He's backing off. Okay, he's eating. Yeah, that water dropped out. It's a perfect opportunity for these gators to feed. All that water flowed out of the flooded parts of the timber. All those little fish and crawfish are being concentrated right along the edge of the waterway. Oh, here's a soft-shell turtle. Look over here on the log. You see that big blob? That's a soft-shell turtle. That's a Gulf Coast spiny soft-shell turtle. He's got a soft and leathery shell. You know, a turtle's defense is that hard shell. He lacks this. He lacks this protection. So what he has in the place of a hard shell, he has huge feet. His feet make him a very fast, efficient, and maneuverable swimmer. Those large feet allow him to burrow down into the mud, down into the substrate. That's a Gulf Coast spiny soft-shell turtle. When you hold one, you got to be careful. Because if you hold him like you would a regular turtle, on the side of his shell, his neck is long enough to where he can reach around and bite you. The proper way to hold on to a soft-shell turtle is by the rear end of his shell. The whole time you hold on to the rear end of his shell, his back feet are kicking your fingers off. They're very difficult to hold on to. But sometimes people eat this turtle for turtle soup. We have a lot of them. Watch for them. We might see some more. He's doing the same thing like the gators. Everybody's being real lazy today, basking.
I've never had it. Yeah, it's Saturday.
Now see this vine here on our right? It's got a round, serrated leaf on it. It's growing all over the tree and the bush right here. That's muscadine. This is the wild grape. And if you look real close, you can see all the little clusters of grapes, little baby grapes in there. Last year we had a fantastic muscadine season. And if this is any indication, we'll have a great muscadine season this year as well. There's little bitty tiny grapes in there, little clusters.
The females?
Now muscadine are edible, but they have a thick skin and a really large seed. Most people just use them to make muscadine jelly and jam and muscadine wine. Very excited about the muscadine season this year. Last year was so good. Hoping this year will be as good. And I have a bunch growing in my yard. Even the ones I have in my yard, they started to produce little grapes, just like these wild ones. This is the Lonely Bayou. This intersection. The Lonely Bayou was dredged out straight. They turned the bayou, the natural bayou, into a man-made canal. They dredged it back in the 1800s during the logging process. They dredged it so they could float timber, cypress logs, and supplies around. This bayou, this canal, connects the Highway 51 in front of us to the railroad tracks behind us.
So there's raccoon up here. Look all the way across. He'll move. See him moving? His head up there. It's a raccoon. See? He's a big one. See?
Everybody wave to the people. But don't make eye contact. Don't feed the people. No, you'll never get rid of them once you feed one. There's George. Look on the bank.
Do you love it in there?
I love it.
The panhandlers of the swamp, the raccoon. People ask me all the time, what are we going to see on the tour today? I tell them you'll see water, you'll see trees, and you'll see raccoons. I always get to see raccoons unless Captain Allen is working. Then you don't see any. But that's George. The raccoon is the only animal you can legally hunt at night on state property. Retail value on a raccoon pelt is about $30 to $35, unless you shop at Cabela's. At Cabela's, they're $99.99.
There was two. Another one ran over the little one.
No, that's not George of the Jungle. That's George Cooney.
They threw some food out there. That's amazing. Yeah.
George Cooney? Anyway. I'm crying. We feed him, right? You can see he's eating some corn and raccoon chow we throw out. And you can see the big mud pit, right? The wild feral pigs come here about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. They eat all the leftover raccoon feed. We have a lot of wild pigs here. The hunters that hunt down the bayou behind us, this past hunting season, they killed 36 pigs. No shortage of wild pigs. They logged the swamp for bald cypress wood. This big tree over here on our right-hand side, that's a bald cypress tree. That is the Louisiana state tree. It's the largest, most abundant, best suited for life in this environment. Bald cypress wood resists termites and rot naturally. So that's the wood to use before people chemically treated wood. It was such a valuable wood, they logged out the entire United States. There are no more stands of old-growth cypress forest left. They've already cut them all down. But they left us a few trees. As we tour, you pay attention, you can see some big ones. They left them along the banks to tie up boats, tie up barges, and anchor winches. They also left us a lot of undesirable cypress trees. Now, bald cypress is a conifer. It is a coniferous tree. Most conifers are evergreens. This one will lose its leaves during the winter. They go bald. It's a deciduous conifer. They only have 3 deciduous conifers in the world. There's the bald cypress, There's also the tamarack, which goes farther up in North America. And there's some tree from China I don't know anything about.
I think that's a gator right there.
Here's a gator on your side, the right side now. There's one on the left over here too. But there's one over here on the right finally.
Oh yeah, I see
Yep,
it.
look over here in the mud.
It's right there.
Yeah. A little bitty fella, huh?
Sometimes they get the whole bodies exposed, right? Other times they just show the back, the top of their back, the bumps.
Can I help you?
The bumps in their back and their neck and their tail are called scoots. He has
Oh,
144 scoots on his back. The scoots help to get it to thermoregulate.
Can I hold it?
There is a hard bony plate underneath the skin. Oh, look at the size of this turtle's feet, y'all. See how big his feet are?
Right here.
In the water.
You see him now?
You want to eat that?
Nom nom.
You see him eating?
Yeah, he's eating it.
Sometimes he eats all shellfish.
He really does have big feet.
One of the edible varieties for turtle soup. Turtle soup is a delicacy. Men's Health magazine voted the alligator snapping turtle to be the best tasting wild animal to eat.
That is a big turtle.
The turtle's like that. See, swimming.
Now these are people. These are the most dangerous creatures of the swamp. No flash photography, please. If you start to snap photos, they think that they're important. There's nothing more dangerous than that. Somebody that thinks that they're important. Those are the most dangerous ones.
You see that little bit? That's a baby turtle.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Put that camera down, lady. What is she doing taking a picture of me? Don't post that up on face page. My face. What's that called?
I bet they do.
But let me tell y'all something. If my parole officer sees that photo, I'm in big trouble.
Yeah.
Look, now look straight ahead.
There's a lot of
Look at it.
turtles up there.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them.
You actually
Couple more times.